Joining us now, NewsNation political contributor Dr. Wright, political scientist at Princeton University. Good morning to you, as always. Thanks for being here. So one guest that I had this morning on this topic said, all right, if President Trump wants to target D.C. and Chicago and New York and L.A., these are Democratic-run cities. Why not go to some Republican-run cities and clean up crime there? Your thoughts on all this and if it's become too political?
Well, those variables overlap way too much. Democratic run cities are also in, of course, Democratic leaning urban areas where there's high population concentrations. And so there simply aren't as much of the large cities that critics are talking about where you could make an apples to apples comparison. So, I have sympathy for Democrats who say, look, we just have a lot of people in a small area here with few resources. It's not to do with party. And I also understand Republicans who are very hard on these cities, understandably, for not properly enforcing safety standards that behoove their residents. People feel unsafe in these cities, and the survey data is pretty consistent on that. In DC, I'll just say very quickly, too, they're down almost 1,000 police officers. That's the lowest it's been in 50 years. And the police force itself will tell you they think it's a dangerous situation there.
No president has ever taken over D.C.'s police force under Section 740 of the Home Rule Act, which is what is happening here. What's your understanding of President Trump's authority now within the 30 days and potentially beyond that?
He's on pretty shaky ground. I mean, on the broadest level possible, when you talk about the civilian use of the military, even if it's in the District of Columbia, which is, of course, not a state, that is not disputed by many legal analysts. However, where he does have strength is on the public opinion side. Most people aren't sitting there getting out their constitution, looking at presidential powers. They're thinking, I feel afraid here. I'm trying to raise a family here, and I don't want to walk around without as many police officers as we used to have. And so that's where I think he has the leeway where the public might say, hey, if this is what it takes, then let's see if it works.
So to that end, might his staunchest critics face some backfire? Certainly those who are the loudest going into the midterm elections, that they didn't support making cities safer.
Sure. I mean, this could easily be a political liability for Republicans or Democrats. If it works, and I hope it does, I hope that the city is made safer, then Republicans are in a strong position and Trump is just doing exactly what he said on the campaign trail. But if something goes wrong, if there are scuffles, if there are protests of this, and that's not handled well by law enforcement, it could end up being a Democratic talking point too. I do think the constitutional angle is just too esoteric, and most people don't have time to pay attention to that sort of stuff. And so Democrats making the legal arguments, I think, are in a tough spot politically, but I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, boy, a fierce battle. And we're looking at a live image of Washington, D.C. as crews move in to clean up one of the many homeless encampments. Dr. Wright, thanks as always.